Commander Replay. A Lannister always pays their debts as we check out this Queen Cersei and the Iron Bank Queen Marchesa deck. Will we be able to win with treasure tokens? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank all of my awesome Patreon supporters. We have a new Patreon supporter, Segius. Segius, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Alright, take a look at this opening hand. Yeah, we're going to mulligan this hand. Welcome back, everyone. Some more Game of Thrones action today, playing Queen Marchesa, Cersei Lannister, and the Iron Bank. So that's going to bring it to our turn one. Let us play. I guess we're going to go for the Blood Crypt tapped, and we'll pass like that. So we're playing Queen Marchesa today. 1 and Mardu for a 3/3 Death Touch and Haste. When it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. Very fitting. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent is the Monarch, create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch and Haste. We won't be doing so much with the tokens today. What we will be doing is we'll be playing the Iron Bank theme, which is going to be a lot of treasure tokens. And if we can, we're actually going to try and win the game with Revel and Riches and creating a bunch of treasure tokens by killing our opponent's creatures. We do have a handful of ways to generate treasure tokens in the deck. The best ones are going to be Revel and Riches with a board wipe or Smothering Tithe into a wheel. So essentially we're playing a Mardu combo deck, and I built a few other little fun things in there as well. So we play the Signet. Lots of things coming into play for our opponents. For the Ayel opponent, they go with a turn 3 Soul Ring and a Phyrexian Arena, so they'll be getting some extra card draw going. Lightning Greaves in for the Kaervek opponent. Ooh, Kaervek, scary. And then Minotaur Sure Shot in for the Zedruu the Greathearted. That's going to bring it back to our turn. There's a Contract Killing. Fun card. Creates a treasure token. Creates 2 treasure tokens, actually. So another way for us to generate treasures. Let's go for the Clifftop Retreat right here. And then let's just get our commander in and try to start drawing some cards. So, Queen Marchesa, Cersei Lannister into play. It is a 3/3. We're just going to stay put so that the Minotaur doesn't try and steal our Monarch token. So we get to draw with the Monarch token. Oh, hey, that's a Wheel of Fortune. We can do some stuff now. Vial Smasher the Fierce coming into play, and opponent's going to put boots on it. Yep. The Eldest Reborn into play. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Well, that will kill our Queen Marchesa, but it does get rid of the Vial Smasher and the other things on board. Vial Smasher can be a little bit annoying, so there is that. I am joined by 3 Patreon supporters today. First up, we have Useless Facts piloting this Kaervek the Merciless deck, and they said their deck theme is sadomasochism. So they'll be doing lots of damage to pretty much everything, and life totals will probably melt very quickly. Next up, we have Chaotix 2075 piloting Ayel Knight of Windgrace, Brianne of Tarth. So this is going to be a Knight Tribal deck. And they've played a few good cards already with the Eldest Reborn, Phyrexian Arena, and the Soul Ring, so off to a decent start for them. And then finally we have Zsauce piloting the Zedruu the Greathearted, which is a Minotaur deck. So it should be kind of fun. Zedruu, always an interesting commander when control of permanence starts getting changed and wacky stuff starts to happen. That does bring it back to our turn. I'm stopped on our upkeep right now. I'm thinking about Vampiric Tutor into Smothering Tithe and then setting up the wheel. Maybe we wait on that. I want to get this Genesis Chamber in first. Yeah, let's just draw naturally. Ooh, there's a Plea for Guidance. We can get all the stuff with that. Play the Windswept Heath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are out of lands in hand. That's not ideal. We're still the Monarch. I guess we'll get to draw one more. If we don't get a blocker into play, yeah, we'll get to draw one more. We're each gonna have to discard a card. That's not the best. How do we get more lands? That's the question I'm working on right now. We could go Contract Killing, shoot Zedruu. Yeah, I think I'd rather save it, though. I guess we just play Genesis Chamber, and then we can Vampiric Tutor at the end step. We'll get a better feel of what's going on the board. So Monarch trigger for us. Hope to hit a land right here. It is not a land. It is a Ghostly Prison. Ghostly Prison is still good, though. Probably just should have went for the Vampiric Tutor Smothering Tithe bit right there. There's a Sin Prodder for the Kaervek opponent. That'll trigger the Genesis Chamber. Opponent's going to put the boots on the Sin Prodder. I bet it's coming our way. Yep. Opponent going to steal the Monarch token. And they do get us for 3. Down to 37. Phyrexian Arena trigger for the Ayel. So each opponent will have to discard from the Eldest Reborn. What are we discarding? We have an Austere Command. We don't have the mana for it yet, though.
Probably Contract Killing. That's the weakest card in our hand, I think. We have 2 board wipes in hand. Actually, you want what we could do? Yeah, okay. So discard the Contract Killing. We could go... If opponents lay down a bunch of creatures right here, we could go Vampiric Tutor, get Revel in Riches, and then Blasphemous Act. And that should get us many, many treasure tokens. Thran Dynamo for the Ayel opponent. Ayel coming into play. And Zedruu gets their upkeep trigger, where X is 0. I'm actually... do we wait? So, end step, I'm going to Vampiric Tutor. Get the Revel in Riches. Zedruu holding open some blue mana doesn't make me super happy. So we draw our Revel in Riches, crack the Windswept Heath. Let's get a Scrubland. We'll play the Revel in Riches. Do we wait on the Revel in Riches? Opponents probably all still have a lot of, like, removal and things. Yeah, let's play the Revel in Riches. The reason being is that we're missing land drops, and I would like to get caught back up on those. Revel in Riches is one way to do that. 2 of our opponents could very likely have enchantment removal, so this may not go the best, but we'll see what happens. So, past the turn, Sin Prodder will trigger for the Kaervek. Beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. An opponent may put that card into your graveyard. If a player does, Sin Prodder deals damage to that player equal to that card's converted mana cost. Otherwise, put it into your hand. It was a land, and someone paid to put it into the graveyard. Sin Prodder was an interesting attempt at the red card draw ability, but I think it's a little bit too weak, giving opponents the option to do that, especially in a multiplayer format. You know, in like a 1v1 standard or something like that, sure, if opponents getting low in life, they'll probably just give you the card, but they may anyway. Oh, there's Wheel of Fortune, so we're going to lose all of our cool stuff. But we will most likely find some lands. That being the case, I'm glad we got Revel in Riches into play, though I will be sad to lose this Ghostly Prison. Let's see. We got a Memory Jar. We got Black Market. A Black Market is cool. We got a Sword so we can protect ourselves. That's helpful. A little bit short on card draw. Memory Jar is more of a combo piece than a draw spell per se. Probably also going to have to hope that Ayel doesn't run into Austere Command. Oh, they discarded some big stuff. Martial Coup. Marshal's Anthem, Teferi's Protection, Crush Contraband, ooh, yeah, that was, and a Cabal Coffers. We made out pretty good right there. Crush Contraband would have been a big problem for us. Ooh, opponent has a Knowledge Pool in their deck? That seems suspect. Zedruu did have a double negative. They didn't have 2 blue open, though. Sin Prodder coming back into us. So opponent gets us for 3 more. We are down to 31. Ugh. And they'll get to draw at the end step with the Monarch token. Arena trigger for the Ayel. So the final stage of the Eldest Reborn will trigger, and opponent will get to put a creature from the graveyard onto the battlefield. Looks like they're going for the Vile Smasher. Pretty good one. That will give them a Genesis Chamber trigger. Sadly, we lost 2 board wipes in our hand getting wheeled right there. I think we have about 5, though we also have a couple things that kill tokens specifically. There's an Elish Norn, and there's, Virulent Plague. Arvad the Curse coming into play. Death Touch, Lifelink, other legendary creatures get +2/+2. Seems good. 5 damage off the Vile Smasher. Please don't be us. It was us. Down to 26. We are unfortunately wide open to this Ayel right here. Opponent going to swing into the Kaervek and sending the token also. This will get them the Monarch token, so that works out. I really do like the Monarch token. It keeps people attacking in a game of Commander. Keeps things moving along. There are games where it's just too easy for people to sit back and just not do much of anything. Opponent blocks. That gives us a Revel in Riches trigger. That is very helpful, actually. I've been thinking about our turn for a little while here, and that Revel in Riches trigger will allow us to get the Signet and get Grave Titan into play, and that makes me very happy. Also now we can leave up with Swords to Plowshares or even Tithe if we need to. Opponent's going to create a 2/2 Knight token with their Ayel, and they'll get to draw at the end step. Sure. So Zedruu's turn, they get their upkeep trigger. X is still 0. Let's see if they change that at all. Don't think that they will. No changes. X is 0. Opponent's going to play a Scry Temple. Land tax coming in for the Zedruu. Sure. Divining Top coming down for the Zedruu. And a Phyrexian Metamorph coming in. Let's see what this copies. Copies the Thran Dynamo. Okay, so opponents are trying to get some mana. That's all right. So that'll bring it back to our turn. There's a land. Lands are good. Guess we'll play the fetch, crack the fetch. We'll get our bad lands. Let's get the Signet into play. And then let's get the Grave Titan so that we have some blockers, because we don't want to get blasted in the next combat. Seems like it would be very bad, and there's a lot of creatures piling up on board. In order to set up this Revel in Riches, we will need to find a board wipe at some point. The Grave Titan does trigger the Genesis Chamber, and opponent gonna swords our Grave Titan immediately. It's not great. We do gain some life back, but we still have some blocking tokens, so as much as I wanted that Grave Titan to stick around, it does still give us some blocking power, and that's basically what we needed. And that little bit of life is helpful. Ooh, a Sunbird's Invocation gets revealed from the Sin Prodder. See if anyone pays for it. Someone paid for it. Looks like Chaotix, probably. Ayel? Yeah. Sunbird's is pretty good. Sunbird's, I was talking about it with someone the other day, and like, it's a card that's a victim of its own success. It's very, very good, but the problem is people know that, and they shoot it pretty quickly, so it is actually very hard to cast it, untap with it, and then be able to start casting things to get value from it. Ooh, hey, here's a Possibility Storm. Well, that's going to make things interesting. What do we have for instance that this Tithe could become? Could become a Swords. A Swords is already in our hand. That's a sorcery. Could become more removal. Could become a Chaos Warp. Could become Teferi's Protection. Return to Dust. Okay, so that'll be pretty random. We don't have a lot of control over what that's doing. Black Market, what could that become? That could become... Land Tax would be not great. Duelist Heritage is okay. Grasp of Fate is okay. Crescendo of War would be interesting. Retreat would be interesting. Smothering Tithe would be really good. Really need like a sorcery. Possibility that I just recast our commander to get the Monarch token back. Feel like we could use a couple extra cards. Having the Death Toucher around is nice. Opponent's going to play a Knight of the Last Breath that will get swept into the Possibility Storm. And that will do 7 damage to a target. Please don't be us. 7 mana 4/4, huh? Sacrifice a non-token creature. Create a 1/1 black and white spirit creature with flying afterlife. Alright. Opponent gets a Parhelion Patrol. Flying Vigilance Mentor. Genesis Chamber will trigger. Vial Smasher will hit someone. Please don't be us. Oh man, it hits us. Back down to 24. Kidding me. So Vial Smasher has now hit us twice for the tune of, what, 11? Was that 6 and 5, I think? Ugh. Opponent going to do some attacking. Hope some blocking occurs here and things die. That would be sweet. Opponent's going to block with their Zedruu. Is this a dice trigger? Yeah, it's a dice trigger. So Zedruu will not get us treasure tokens. Sad face. Ariel's going to create a 2/2 Knight creature. And opponent will get to draw with the Monarch token. Zedruu's going to take a look with the Divining Top. Didgeridoo for the Zedruu opponent. That'll get swept away into the Possibility Storm. Looks like it's going to become a Signet? Yep, becomes a Signet. Opponent going to cast an Anaba Ancestor, and that'll get swept away into the Possibility Storm. Becomes a Solemn Simulacrum. So Solemn Simulacrum coming in, that'll trigger the Genesis Chamber, and opponent will get to look for a land. Vandal Blast. Uh-oh. Vandal Blast is turning into Austere Command. Oh boy. That's not good. Enchantments probably get hit right here. There's a lot of creatures in play too, though. Let's see how opponent does it. Looks like they're going all creatures. Oh, hey now. That's gonna, are we gonna win the game on our upkeep? How many treasure tokens are we getting? We have more than 10 treasure tokens. We just need to untap. Opponent's gonna Divining Top. Looking for an answer. Opponent plays a creature, gets swept away in the Possibility Storm, and it becomes a mirror entity. That's not gonna do it. And it comes back to our turn. There's the Revel in Riches trigger, and the Iron Bank wins the game. I can't believe that worked. I'm sure opponent forgot about the at the beginning of your upkeep clause on Revel in Riches. Oh, what a janky deck. I mean, it'll probably never work again, so there's that. Ooh, we had a Damnation coming next, too. I mean, it would have got swept away in the Possibility Storm, but what I probably would have done is go for Swords to Plowshares and see if that turns into Anguished Unmaking or one of our removal spells. Use that on the Possibility Storm, then try to cast the Damnation. But yeah. Cersei Lannister, Iron Bank, hooray! Winning with treasure tokens. And I've actually been meaning to try and win with Revel in Riches for a while. I just never built the deck specifically to do it. So this deck would be that deck, and it worked one time. I can't imagine it'll ever work again, but we got the one that we needed. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.